Welcome to the Charity Changemakers Podcast, the show where we dive into the journeys, challenges and successes of the leaders shaping the sector today. Each episode I'll be sitting down with the senior charity leaders to hear their stories, uncover their insights and explore what it really takes to drive change today. And if you enjoy the podcast, I'd really appreciate it if you could subscribe, like and share to help us reach as many people as possible and showcase the incredible charities that are coming on the show. So whether you're a charity professional, a trustee, thinking about joining the sector or making that next step in your career, or just passionate about making an impact, then this podcast is for you. Let's get started. I'm really pleased today to have Caroline Herman joining us on the Charity Changemakers podcast. She is the founder of an organisation called All Yours, and something a little bit different this week, and one that I want to do more of on the podcast is that All Yours is actually a social enterprise rather than a charity. So a model where raising income through products and services, and then putting that the profits and the money made back into providing services. You're going to hear all about All Yours, find out more about the organisation, find out more about the journey that they've been on. We're talking about an organisation that was started in a conversation between Caroline and her daughter in the car on the way to the dentist, and now an organisation that's just over 4 years old. And having incredible impact across communities throughout the United Kingdom. You're going to really enjoy this conversation. There's so much in it. If you're someone with an idea or a spark or thinking about social enterprise, then there's loads of learnings to take away. I found this conversation really inspiring, and I really hope that you do as well. So that's enough from me. Let's get on and meet our changemaker. I'm really pleased to be joined by Caroline today, who's come on the Charity Changemakers podcast. Caroline, who's from All Yours, thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, I'm really pleased to be here. So thank you very much for having me, Adam.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's good. And I'm absolutely delighted because massive advocate of social enterprise. I've worked for social enterprises, been involved with social enterprises in previous roles. Love the sector, love all the businesses that are working for impact and purpose and giving back. And we've not had many people from social enterprise backgrounds or currently working within social enterprises as well on the show. So yeah, particularly delighted to have you on. So can you give us a quick introduction, because I can never do them justice when I do them myself. So yeah, tell us who you are, what you do, and yeah, it'd be lovely to hear.
Yeah, so I'm Caroline. I'm the founder and CEO of All Yours. We are essentially a period equity project that works to support people who can't afford period products each month. So we box them up and send them out into the community. But then we also run a program of period education that we like to think is, kind of high quality, unbranded, gives young people and adults in the community the information that they need to manage their menstrual health. So really, we're about empowering people to manage their period and have the best experience with their menstrual health, because that's something that really doesn't happen in our societies, and particularly in those communities that perhaps struggle to access products and good medical advice.
Yeah. Brilliant. No, that's great. And we'll obviously through the podcast, we'll hear more about All Yours. But we'll be exploring how you got to this point in your career, how you got there, and then learning more about the organisation and ways in which listeners can find out more and potentially ways of getting involved as well. Mm-hmm. We like to start these podcasts off with some quick fire questions that listeners from the first season have chosen for our guests. It's a really nice. Do exactly as I say, quick fire, get to know you a little bit. I'm
ready.
Brilliant.
Ready. What have you got?
So first one, what are you listening to or reading at the moment?
So I am reading Into Thin Air, which is a book by Jon Krakauer about the fatal attempt on Everest in 1996. That sounds a bit like dramatic and heavy going. It's a really well written book. There has been a film made from the book as well. But I have just hit this obsession around Everest and K2. I heard a podcast on the BBC about some climbers going up K2. And yeah, I don't know, I've just got really obsessed with them. So yeah, I'm reading Into Thin Air at the moment and can really recommend it. Normally I read fiction, but this is a non-fiction book and yeah, really, really good.
Yeah, and it's got you gripped. Is that the type of book that you can read just before going to bed or not?
I do. Well, the problem is I go to bed and I read and then I stay up reading because it's so good. So I'm struggling a bit in the mornings at the moment because I've been reading at night. But no, it's a really good book.
Yeah. Okay, great one to go and look up. This second quickfire question I love. What is a quality that you had as a child that you still have today as an adult?
I think probably my ability to amuse myself. So obviously I was a 70s baby. So I grew up like pre-internet, pre-gaming, kind of all of that. And so I, along with like a lot of people, had to amuse myself. And I think I did that quite well. I read a lot. And I had this ability to just spend hours moving furniture around in my bedroom. And my husband knows now if he goes away and leaves me for a weekend, like he went to visit a friend from uni over the weekend, he knows that he'll come home and furniture will have been moved in our house. And that is how I amuse myself. So yeah, I have an ability to just entertain myself, I think.
Yeah. And clearly comfortable with change then if furniture's been moved around as well.
Well, maybe, I don't know what it is. I'm just obsessed with it.
Yeah. No, okay, great. No, that's really, really helpful. So if you've got completely free day, or we might already have heard what you're doing, you've got completely free day, you're rearranging the house. But if you've got a completely free day and you can choose to spend it exactly how you would like to spend it, what are you doing?
I would order really good weather because I'd want to start with a nice long walk with my dogs and just kind of get out into nature and spend a bit of time walking with them. With my husband, if he's on good behaviour, possibly my kids, if they're willing to cooperate as well. But yeah, a nice long dog walk, followed by, reading a good book and then probably out for dinner. I think if I was at home, otherwise exploring a city that I've not been to before. I love kind of exploring new places and just being to places I've not been before.
Yeah, brilliant. If there's one thing I have learned from doing this podcast over the last 18 months or so is when people mention their dog, if I then don't ask, what dog have you got? Or dogs in this case have you got, and what are their names? I get feedback again. We want to hear more about the dogs.
So this is now a podcast about dogs, obviously. I have two cockapoos. I have one called Dougal, who is 10, and one called Spark, who is 7. And they are just, brilliant.
Bundles of energy, I would have thought at that age.
Yeah, Dougal's slowing down a little bit. He's kind of got sore hips, which is kind of typical for kind of that crossbreed. But Spark, he's full of energy and still behaves like a puppy. Fortunately, he's quite diddy, so people think he is a puppy, so he generally gets away with his bad behaviour. But
yeah. No, that's great. That's good. As you mentioned there, going for a walk and your husband potentially being allowed on these walks reminded me of earlier this month. It was my wife's birthday, and she likes to go to the beach and walk our dog. We've got a Cocker Spaniel, Buzz. Give him a nice long walk on her birthday at the beach, and she put in the family WhatsApp. I think it was my mother-in-law sort of asked, what are you doing for the day? And she said, I'm going to the beach with Buzz. Despite the fact I'd taken a day's annual leave to go with them, I completely missed out of the equation. I was like, well, can I come as well? Is that allowed?
No, it's all about the dogs. All about the dogs.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's great. Lovely. Well, it's, thank you, Caroline, for sharing with us. It's lovely to have that insight, picture and window into your life. So that's really, really good. And obviously, this podcast is all about finding out how people have ended up working within the impact sector. In your case, working for social enterprise. This always feels like a massive question, but how did you get? We want to find out about that career journey, what it's looked like. I mean, how did you get into the charity? How did the career start for you?
So I got into this line of work completely by accident. Absolutely no intention of starting a social enterprise or anything like that. So before COVID, I'd worked in digital marketing. I did a degree in politics when I was at university. When I left uni, I went into marketing, worked for a couple of jobs. Sort of ended my first career, as I think I call it now, as client services director for a local digital marketing agency. And I reached a point where working that intensely with young children, trying to kind of keep the family going was not working for us as a unit. So I stepped away from that, kind of saw my kids through primary school, and then we hit COVID. Right. And over COVID, we'd kind of hit Christmas time of 2020. And I was like to my daughter, who was 14 at the time, why don't we do something to just kind of help people out over Christmas, give us a little bit of a purpose, and just try and give back. We're okay, we're surviving COVID, but there were lots of people who weren't. So we decided that we were going to get some period products, put them in some boxes and give them to our local food bank. So we did that. We kind of shared it on Facebook. Some friends kind of said, yeah, we'll give you some products as well. We'll help with that. And it just rolled with word of mouth. The next village kind of got involved, and then Newbury, which is our nearest town, kind of got involved. And it just spread by word of mouth. And by the February after Christmas, we had organisations contacting us asking if they could have our boxes. We had individual women and families contacting us asking if they could have products, and it just kind of snowballed. People started volunteering, and so kind of by around February of 2021, I had an enterprise, a charitable project running. So I kind of went with it. We had not much else going on. We were still in the midst of COVID, and it kind of gave me a sense of purpose and connection. And I felt like I was part of kind of a community that was trying to really help people. And so it kind of went from there. And then at the beginning of 2022, we were just focused on boxes at that point. A manufacturer of reusable products asked me if I would do period education sessions for them to help people who were using the products understand how they work and why they were important. And at first I was a bit reluctant. I was like, I don't know. But I kind of was like, well, we'll give it a go. I think it's really important that young people have really good understanding around periods and their menstrual health. So we kind of pulled it all together, and we have not looked back since then. So we have been delivering period education workshops in Wales since the beginning of 2022. We then got funding to do an in-person programme locally where I live in West Berkshire. And the other day, just a couple of weeks ago, I did my 100th workshop. Oh, wow. And I checked the numbers as well, and we've educated about 2,500 young people and adults in that time. So not planned, but that is kind of in a nutshell how it went.
Yeah, and what sounds like a conversation, an idea around potentially the kitchen table with your daughter in a conversation.
It was in the car on the way to the dentist. I remember it vividly.
Yeah, indeed. It's funny how sometimes those best ideas can come actually when you get yourself out and into a different environment. I guess you're away from screens, aren't you? I guess in that type of environment, you're chatting and bouncing.
What I can't fathom is it was the middle of COVID, and we were on our way to the dentist for like a routine checkup. I would have thought rooting around in my mouth was the last thing the dentist wanted to do in a pandemic, but clearly, he was there for the teeth.
Yeah, I suppose there by December he'd enjoyed quite a lot of the year off and was ready to do some work. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, indeed. And at that point, so you hadn't worked in charity before, hadn't worked at not-for-profit organisation. I mean, had you even heard about social enterprises? You even know what they were?
Well, no. And I think I have to give a huge amount of credit to the School for Social Entrepreneurs for keeping me in this space. So around February 2021, and as I was realising this was a thing, I applied for the School for Social Entrepreneurs startup course.
Yeah. Okay.
Mainly because it came with a grant, and I was like, wicked, we need some money. But that changed my life. That sounds very dramatic, but that changed my life. It completely opened up the idea of social enterprise, running not-for-profit, about putting impact at the heart of what we do. I think had I not come across them, I probably would have gone down the route of creating All Yours as a charity. But we could see the potential of generating income through the workshops and then putting that back into the project. I could just see how we could run better as a social enterprise than we could as a charity. So I did the startup course, which was about a year, and just got me into a really, really good place. And then at the moment, I literally finish the kind of less learning study sessions next week. I've been doing the trading up, social enterprise trading for good. So again, that's just been like another layer on top. And I think, if it hadn't been for the School for Social Entrepreneurs, I probably, would have gone down the charity route. But instead, we have this really flexible, really creative, quite dynamic organisation that is really delivering impact that you can see in the room at the time that we deliver the workshops, or at that moment someone picks up a period box and knows that they don't have to worry about their period for the next couple of months. So really proud of the fact we've gone down that route.
Yeah, absolutely. And tell us a little bit more about the School for Social Entrepreneurs, what that kind of looks like, what that learnings look like. Is it also, I guess, grown your network? Like you say, kind of coming into this a little bit cold. Has that sort of grown your network?
Yeah, I think they're an amazing organisation. I believe they're based in, like their headquarters are based in London. I'm going there next week, which I'm very excited about for 2 days. But they cover the whole of the country and they do different regional projects. And basically you get study days, which are like core learning around topics like sales, marketing, finance, governance, compliance, kind of all these things that are really important to know when you're running kind of a business, but it's done in a kind of social enterprise focus. And then you get quite a lot of action learning, which is around peer coaching and really helping you kind of work an issue and kind of reflect and try and find like solutions that work best for you. And for me, that has always been the best part of these courses is action learning, because I've had some major breakthroughs, some real aha moments. And when you get I've had some amazing facilitators as well. And when you just get that nugget and they just help dig that little bit deeper, I think it has changed the course of All Yours several times, from where I felt like I'm really at a block to suddenly being able to see the way forward and maybe making massive change within the organisation. We don't stay still for long. If you look at where we were 2020, 2021, we're a completely different organisation now. I can remember starting 2022, I think we had £1,500 in the bank. And we had a conversation about how much longer can we go. Fast forward to January 2025, and we had significantly more than that in the bank, and we had a plan, and we had kind of where we know we're going. So yeah.
And how did you find juggling all that? In that startup mentality, you like say you've got marketing, branding, I guess, background and experience, but suddenly you're handling all of these, from finance to sales to reach into growing to network to governance, all of these different things, as well as then trying to find time for training and learning.
I think I quite talk, I talk quite often about I, me, whatever, but that's rubbish. I have an amazing team of volunteers around me. I have an exec team who are just brilliant women who get my vision and get where we want to take the organisation. And I was really careful when I set it up that I didn't just rope in friends and family. I didn't, once I'd committed to this being a thing, I didn't want it to just be people who kind of loved me enough to help.
Yes.
So all the people on our exec team are volunteers that came to us cold. Essentially, I didn't know them beforehand. And they've become like so important to me in my life. They're people that I think about every day. We converse like almost every day. And yeah, they're just people. There's still a lot I don't know about them, but they just feel like they've been part of life for a long time now. I've got our treasurer, Amanda. She was like our first All Yours volunteer, like proper one who came in from the cold, so to speak. And she has a background in accounting. She works for an insurance company. She's amazing when it comes to kind of anything to do with technology. We've got Karen, who's our secretary. She has a background in compliance. She also worked for an insurance company. So she's brilliant when it comes to like policies and procedures. I can be like, I've read this, I think this is changing. And she'll be like, I'm on it, it's fine. And she'll come back to the next meeting and it'll all be done. Leanne, who looks after our social media and our marketing, she has a background in marketing and market research. I hope she doesn't mind me sharing this, but she has endometriosis, so she has real lived experience of quite a chronic menstrual health condition. And Rebecca, who is one of our directors, she has taken a step back from kind of operations because she's really busy with her actual job. But she worked in diversity and inclusion for universities for most of her career. And so she brought this real, and still brings this real element of like empathy and understanding around the people that we're working with. So I like to think I've made some quite shrewd choices about the people I've kind of chosen to share this journey with me, but I couldn't have done it without them. So when I talk about me and what I did, actually, I couldn't have done that on my own.
There's some real wisdom in that surrounding, there's some real wisdom about surrounding yourself with good people, and like you say, people that are outside of the course that bring that check and that challenge and that working with. How did you find them, or did they find you?
Well, a lot of them found me. Amanda was a friend of a friend who lived she lived in Swindon. I was in kind of outside Newbury. She was like, oh, I love what you're doing. I want to do this in Swindon. And at the time, this was, kind of 2 months after we'd started. I was like, okay, why not?
Yes.
Not thinking at all about what that actually meant. And she's just been with me, from the start. Rebecca had literally moved in with her boyfriend, who's now her husband. Literally as we went into lockdown in March 2020, she knew no one in the area. She'd moved out of London and she'd seen us on Facebook, and she obviously thought we were a good cause, and just kind of got involved that way. Karen, I think, used to work with Amanda. This is what I mean. Like, I don't know all their histories in detail, but I know how we're all connected. They used to work together. I think Karen's son now works for Amanda or with Amanda. So they kind of knew each other. So Karen came into the fold. And Leanne just replied to an advert on social media asking for volunteers in Abingdon. And we had people already volunteer to be delivery volunteers. So I was like, I don't need anyone else. What other skills have you got? And it just kind of went from there. I think the fact that they found us speaks volumes for their commitment to the cause. Because I don't, you see posts, you see, whatever on social media about projects and charities and social enterprise. But I think it takes a lot to go, actually, I want to be in that. So massively grateful they found us.
And what does the organisation look like today? So we talk about these 4 years of change, things moving, changing, growing, adapting. From what you described as something that started in our village, and then the next village. What does it look like today at All Yours?
Yeah, so some in some ways we're massively different. We're very structured. We have policies. We have government. I can remember talking to Fran at our local food bank, who we kind of met when we first started this, and she really championed us to keep going. And I can remember saying to her about policies, I don't want to write policies, Fran. I just want to put period products in boxes. And she was like, you need to put your big girl pants on and you need to write them. So we've kind of gone from that to, we have structure, we have an exec team. We have automated the way in which you order period products through our website. So that's less kind of cumbersome. We have like teams of delivery volunteers. We have storage. Oh my God, we have storage. We used to have so this wall behind me used to just be stacked to the ceiling with period products. So we have storage. We have been founding members of the Period Equity Alliance, which is like a national group to try and push forward menstrual equality. We've gone from being a bunch of kind of, dare I say it, sorry, Leanne, because I don't include you in this, middle-aged women to, kind of a serious social enterprise that kind of knows what it's doing.
Still learning and developing, right? That's the reality.
And I can't see that stopping. I can't see that stopping. I think that's the heart of what we do, is we change and we adapt, and
and delivering services outside of just the local area. I mean, you've talked about Abingdon, Swindon, talked about obviously Wales and some of the education side as well. It's got a geographical reach.
Yeah, so we are bigger than I thought we would ever be. I thought we would just be kind of doing my local area. So we cover all of West Berkshire, Wiltshire, South Oxfordshire, and parts of Northamptonshire. Not Hampshire, not Northamptonshire, North Hampshire. But yeah, our period education we deliver in England and in Wales. We work with several Welsh local authorities. They get a grant to deliver period education into their schools. So we deliver in through that scheme, through the Period Dignity Grant. I've been up there, I've been up to Flintshire, I've hung out with Emma and her team, who do amazing stuff in the community. People are really quick to judge the various period product schemes that are around. And there are lots of reasons to do that, to say they're not being implemented properly. But I think what we don't do enough of is recognise the people who do it brilliantly. And I have seen some people doing it absolutely brilliantly. In Flintshire, with Emma and her team, is one of them. They're just all over it. They're really passionate about it. And then there's schools in England who have a scheme that's administered by the Department for Education. It's quite cumbersome, not necessarily what we're all looking for, but they make it work. And there are girls in schools who are getting what they need and the support. And then when we layer on period education and menstrual health education on top of that, they're coming out really confident that they know their bodies, they know how their health is meant to work. And they're just in a much better place. So I've seen some great examples of what menstrual equity should look like, and that's what we're always striving for.
And what are the opportunities that are there for all yours coming up ahead? What's the next chapter look like?
So I think the next chapter is really focusing on our workshops. Our boxes, we've kind of got a model that works really well. We're really lucky. We have some solid funding that we'll see is probably through the next 12 months, hopefully, assuming things don't get any worse than they already are. So I think it's going to be about our workshops, and we have clients that we've worked with for a long time now who've come back and asked us for like more workshops on different topics. So come September, we're launching around menopause. That's like really important to people. And we're also running sessions around why our words matter. So why we should be using inclusive language, and why what we say to people when we talk to them about their menstrual health really matters. So workshops are going to be like really, really featuring for us, I think, especially over the next 2 to 3 years. That's really where we kind of want to push our energy, because that's where we get our trading income from, and that's going to be what really helps kind of make us sustainable. But the other thing that I'm really excited about was a couple of weeks ago at the end of June, we launched our Dads Do Pads workshops, which were specifically for men who wanted to learn more about period products. It was the first one we'd done. People talk about how important it is to include men and boys in the conversation. So we were like, okay, well, let's just do it. Let's just see what happens. And we had 8 courageous dads turn up who were brilliant. And they loved the workshop. We loved the workshop. So we're going to be looking to expand that as well. So we're going to cover topics like the menstrual cycle with them, menopause, that kind of thing. So that kind of the men in our lives kind of know what's going on with us, and can kind of get in the trenches with us.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. So workshops moving forward, expanding that program, looking for
Yeah,
new opportunities, and you still one of the things that has been really lovely to hear through the conversations about partnerships. You mentioned obviously food banks, a few
yeah,
times, and working with is that partnership program and working together still a really important part
yeah,
of delivery.
yeah. Our partnerships are really what keep us getting to the right people.
Yeah,
So every library in West Berkshire has boxes, so anyone can walk into a public building and ask for support, which I'm so proud of that. And we are just building our network in Wiltshire, South Oxfordshire. Libraries have them as well, and that's something that we've worked really hard to do. But then it's about working with the youth service. Kind of locally to me, we give them products, they make sure the youngsters have them. That's like really, really important. The food bank, West Berks Food Bank, is our asset lock on our CIC. So I think they kind of have a vested interest because they know if this all goes horribly wrong, that's all going to land on their doorstep. But yeah, Fran and Laura, who work there, just really champion the work we do, and they help us get that out into the community. I'm going to get in so much trouble because I'll be missing out all these brilliant people, but we have about 98 community partners, and they are the backbone of getting our products to the people who need them, who are in the situations that we can't necessarily reach them in. So we couldn't do what we do without them.
yeah, without those
Really,
partners.
it would be so much harder.
Yeah, absolutely, and a network of volunteers as well that are working for you.
Yeah, so we have, I think we have about 25 at the moment who deliver to individual families and individuals who aren't able to access a collection point or have just been referred to us through a route that makes an individual request easier. So they might have a menstrual health condition, they might have been referred by the GP, and so we give them a bespoke package of products that suit the kind of issues that they're dealing with. So we have boxes in GP surgeries, but also the GPs will say, ask them for this or tell them about this, and they'll be able to give you something else. So, just really important that we have those volunteers available to like drop on the doorstep when we need to, because otherwise those people potentially would miss out.
And is that a good opportunity for people to get involved? I mean, this might be the first time that people have come across All Yours or hearing about you as an organisation. Where do they come to find out more information, find out how they can support, and how they might be able to? Yeah, I'm sure there'll be people with questions or want to find out more.
So our website is allyoursbox.co.uk, and we're All Yours Monthly on like Facebook and Instagram. Come and have a look at our website, see what we do. Our volunteering is mainly around our boxes. With the workshops, we kind of have facilitators that are trained and kind of know what they're doing. And volunteering is around our boxes. We're always looking for help, whether people want to help deliver boxes or whether they, own a local business that could collect products for us, if people could come and drop off products. We're always looking for donation points. Equally, if you can be a collection point, that would be amazing as well. So if you're a building that the public can access, it'd be great if someone could come in and just pick up a All Yours period box, whether that's they just say to reception, can I have a box, or it's in the toilets or whatever. So we're always looking for places that will help us get those boxes out into the community. And there's information on our website about that. And you can just fill in a form and we'll kind of come and talk to you.
Yeah, great. We'll make sure that the links through to the website and obviously tagging you on social media is all done in the show notes so that people can, hopefully it's a nice and easy journey just to click through. Caroline, I think I tend to ask people a question. If you go back to yourself at the start of your career and give yourself one piece of advice, I'm gonna redo this for yourself. So I hope you don't mind. Not that I want to take away everything that you learned in life one, as you called it. But I think it's going to be really interesting to people that either got an idea or they're already delivering something in their local community that's got scalability, and it might well be that actually social enterprise is a model, or they stumble across it. I mean, go back to yourself in that December 2020, and you start this idea from a conversation in a car on the way to the dentist. And then I guess it snowballs at the beginning of 2021. If you could go back and give yourself a piece of advice or some wisdom at the beginning of that, and you've given us bits of it through the conversation, I recognise that. But what would you go back and say to yourself?
I think I would go back and tell myself that it's a marathon, not a sprint. I can remember feeling sheer panic, not long after Christmas, that we had £5,000 and we had to spend it on period products, and I had to find people that needed all these period products, and I was like, oh my God, this is like, what have I done? And then, like I talked about at the beginning of 2022, when we had like 1,500 quid in the bank, and I was like, oh my God, what are we going to do? We're going to go bust, and this is terrible. But it comes out over time. When I look at what we've done, we've raised probably a couple of £100,000. We've delivered over 100 workshops. We've delivered 25,000 period boxes. We've delivered period education to 2,500 people. That, you can't do that in a sprint. That was a marathon. That has taken us time. We've changed, we've adjusted, we've reflected, we've tried again, we've failed, we've had things that haven't worked, we've done things that were probably a bit stupid. I've probably taken on too much at times. I know my team have taken on too much at times. We haven't thought things through properly. So if I was to go back to Caroline 2020, I would just say, like, don't sweat it. Just do what you can, go with the flow, and just know that as long as you're putting impact and the people that you're trying to support at the forefront of what you do, you can't go wrong.
Yeah,
you might need to course adjust, and you might need to just kind of figure out a couple of things, but as long as you're doing it for impact and to help those people and to educate young people and to provide all those things that are kind of missing, you can't go wrong.
No, that's great. And I think, what we've heard through the conversation is, surrounding yourself with good people, being able to ask questions. Obviously, the training and learning that you've done alongside is that, like you say, when those challenges or those mistakes, the things that we get wrong, there's opportunities to learn from them, to bounce ideas off other people, to, like you say, reposition, realign, and to help in that next.
I think that's one of the biggest things I've learned from the School for Social Entrepreneurs is that, like, failure isn't a problem.
Yeah,
you learn from it, and that's had a huge impact on my life as a whole, I think. And I think that message has got through to, like, my children. They're both adults now. One's at university, one is trying to make her way in the world of work, and they both get frustrated at times, and they have challenges, and I'm like, it's okay if it doesn't work out. That's okay. There's plenty of time for you to get it right, and failure is not a bad thing. You just grow from that. So that I'm really grateful for that lesson, if nothing else, having been a bit of a perfectionist throughout my life, being able to kind of let that go, and just, if no one turns up to a workshop, it's fine.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think that's Caroline. I'm so incredibly grateful for you coming on. I found your whole story just so inspiring, and I know the audience are going to have loved the conversation and the impact that you've had in what is, like you say, a short space of time. And it's still very much, lots of evolution and growth and opportunity ahead. It's just so it's been so inspiring to hear. Really grateful for you giving up time to come and to share the story, and look forward to just seeing how All Yours continues to grow and to develop, and continues to reach so many people in so many different ways across the country.
Fabulous. Thank you for having me. It's been lovely to be able to talk to you about all of it, so thanks.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Charity Changemakers Podcast. I hope you've been inspired by the incredible work being done across the charity sector. And this episode is proudly brought to you by my business, Charisma Charity Recruitment. We are passionate about delivering top-tier recruitment services to the charity sector that we care so much about. If your organisation is looking for expert support, then we'd love to help. Please do get in touch today. If you've enjoyed today's conversation, please leave a review and don't forget to subscribe, like and share, because it helps us reach more people and showcase the amazing charities that come on the show. And for more episodes, please visit our website, charismarecruitment.co.uk. So until next time, keep change making.